What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show. And today, I'm going to talk about it. The first thing up is the NFC Championship game that's going to feature the Washington Commanders versus the Philadelphia Eagles. And already there are talks that Philadelphia might take Washington down, but the thing about it is that has been the talk the whole time. Washington going down. Washington was supposed to go down to Tampa Bay. That did not happen. Washington was supposed to go down to Detroit. That did not happen. So the fact that we're still here and talking about the Washington Commanders in the NFC Championship game, and understand not too long ago they did beat the Philadelphia Eagles. And when you're talking about actually playing on not a shortened week, we're now talking about the chance that Washington might actually walk themselves into the Super Bowl with a first-year quarterback in Jaden Daniels, who's been having a fantastic rookie season and has been putting in himself and everything he can on display for the entire NFL world to actually see. So we're going to get a huge game in Philadelphia. We're going to see how healthy the Philadelphia Eagles really are. You're talking about Cam Jurgens. Seem like they're not certain, but he's questionable that they're not certain if he's going to be playing. Dallas Goedert, it could be a thing where they're just sitting there letting people know that, they're probably just out, but not really injured. So we'll definitely see. They have that Keion Mitchell is actually back and that he will be playing in the game. Now, here's the thing about that. If Keion Mitchell is playing, I know his injury was a shoulder issue along with his backup in Rodgers. So if you were to actually sit up there, the way you would attack Keion Mitchell and possibly get him out of the lineup pretty early on is to sit up there and run the ball towards him. Force him to sit up there and tackle. He may be hesitant to tackle due to the fact that he does have that shoulder injury. So I would sit up there and find a way to attack Keion Mitchell, especially with the running game. Force him to come up and make a tackle, or see if he's willing to tackle, being as though he has he's already dealing with a shoulder issue. The same thing applies to his backup. As soon as his backup comes in, immediately attack him, because I think he had a arm issue as well. So that's the thing about it. When it comes to attacking Philadelphia, you have to stop the run. And I think that if Washington does, in the beginning of the game, actually show that they're willing and able to actually stop the run, I think you can actually fluster Jalen Hurts enough that he will sit up there and make very costly mistakes. This season, him and his wide receivers have not been on the same page. And you can tell from the antics that A.J. Brown has. The funny thing about that is that, does this not remind you of the Terrell Owens, Donovan McNabb relationship? Like, it seems like this is like a blast from the past. Like, the antics that A.J. Brown is having seems similar to Terrell Owens' antics. Everything about it seems like a guy, a receiver who's completely disconnected and completely unhappy with his quarterback, and the fact that his quarterback is not targeting him enough. So, with that being said, I think that the Washington Commanders can in fact do it. But again, you have to stop the guy who's just been the devastating factor for the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's Saquon Barkley. I mean, Saquon, if you can hold Saquon Barkley to 130 yards rushing, you've actually done something. But this guy is, again, I've said it before and I'll say it again, the best running back I've ever seen has been Marshall Faulk. When you're talking about a complete running back, Marshall Faulk to me has been the best running back I've ever seen. Right behind him is Saquon Barkley. I mean, Saquon Barkley is just as dangerous and just as lethal as Marshall Faulk was. The difference is that Kellen Moore is just a trash play caller. He doesn't know how to utilize a guy like Saquon Barkley. At some point, like I said, we stop the run. Eventually, we don't even have to necessarily stop the run. It could be a situation where Kellen Moore will just go away from the run, because that's what Kellen Moore does. He doesn't stick with what's working. So eventually, I can see it being a situation where, again, the disconnect between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, and if you find a way to stop Saquon Barkley, Washington can come away with the victory. But on the other side, Philadelphia can come away with the victory as well, because, again, if you don't stop Saquon Barkley, everything begins and ends with Saquon Barkley. We saw what happened with the Rams. Set up there, Saquon, Saquon Barkley starting off the game, and it seems like every game he starts off with it, a 60-something yard touchdown, then he comes back with a 70-something yard touchdown, and ended the night with 208 yards, 205 yards rushing. So, he's a guy that you have to find a way to stop. And recently, Washington has run into some key running backs, and the running backs were solid at the beginning of the game and somehow tailed off at the end of the game. So, again, we'll see how this game goes. This is going to be a huge one, a huge, huge game. One win, one victory, one opportunity, one chance away from the Super Bowl. And I'm going to tell you something. Washington make it to the Super Bowl, there will be pandemonium in the streets of Washington. Not only that, you're talking about there will be no one with the ability to tell Washington fans anything. Because, again, this is going to be something that we haven't experienced in a long time. Just being in the NFC Championship game was great. But you're talking about us moving to the Super Bowl with our rookie quarterback? Yeah, this will be something that will be a crowning achievement for all Washington fans. And again, it's not warranted that Washington can in fact beat Philadelphia and move on, because we have seen them beat them. We've seen them beat them with 5 turnovers. Imagine if they didn't have any turnovers in that game. Again, Washington's defense has stepped up big time. The takeaway defense, the takeaway defense that Dan Quinn and Joe Witt are used to calling has now started to show up. I mean, in the game last week, we saw 4 interceptions, 2 by Mikey Sandersteele, one by Jeremy Chan, and 1 by Quan Martin. So again, you're dealing with a team that can in fact sit up there and has so far looked like they're willing to take the ball away if you put it in danger. So Washington, it does seem like they're on a mission to really prove everybody wrong. We could never expected this. On the other hand, like I said, Philadelphia has something to prove as well. But I do think that there's times where Philadelphia has overlooked teams and have gotten themselves beaten because they've overlooked teams. And their defense is a very formidable defense. I mean, there's nothing I can say more. That front four is a very vicious front four. And even their rotational guys are very good as well. So you're dealing with a very formidable front 7. The linebackers, they're good too. Zach Bond is good. Nakobe Dean's replacement, he's not bad. He's not bad at all. I don't think he's great, but he's not bad. And I do feel that there's an opportunity to really take advantage of the middle of the field when it comes to this thing. The difference is that you got to find a way to get Zach Bond out of the middle. If you do find a way to get Zach Bond out of the middle, there's a chance that Washington can walk away with a very huge victory and single-handedly walk themselves into the Super Bowl. But again, like I said, you got to get past that front 7 of that Philadelphia Eagles team. It is a very formidable front 7, and like I said, even with Nakobe Dean being out, they got a fairly decent replacement for him. So it's not that bad. But I do feel that there's a huge opportunity here for both teams to really prove themselves. But again, I do think that Washington can, in fact, walk away with the victory. Again, this is going to be a very good game. This is probably going to be one of the more solid games we see, because not only are you talking about a NFC rivalry, you're also talking about teams that, like, when it comes to the fan bases, when it comes to the teams, they do not like each other. They really, really do not like each other, and they're always trying to prove to each other, like, no, this is not a game for us. This is, like, serious. So we're going to see probably a very hard-hitting, hard-fought, tough game. I do feel that there will be points in this game. I do feel that there will be some serious points in this game. I will say this. Washington will have to find a way to keep Saquon off the field. If they can find a way to get long drives going and keep the offense off the field and tire out that front seven, Washington will single-handedly go in and beat the Philadelphia Eagles. If Saquon Barkley rips it off, and he's ripping it off all day, all night, then Washington will be in trouble, because it will be hard for them to get Jaden on the field. So both teams will basically be coming in there with the same strategy, try to keep the other's offense off the field and tire out the other's defense. So we'll see whose strategy works best and who will actually sit up there and do the best. So again, man, this is a big game, and I'm going to tell you, as a Washington fan, it feels good to see my team competing this year. And the fact that, understand, I will be talking about all-season stuff right now, and the fact that I haven't been talking about all-season stuff feels absolutely great, feels absolutely amazing, feels incredible, man. I mean, we got our young quarterback of the future, the here, now, and in the future. We have a head coach who understands what's going on. We have an offensive play caller who's very good when it comes to situational awareness. And we have a defensive coordinator who's now rounding his group into the group that he really wants them to be. Like I said, again, very, very big game on Sunday, and we will see. The game will start at 3 o'clock, and we will see what happens after this game. I mean, y'all tell me how y'all feel. What do y'all feel? What do y'all feel is going to happen? Do y'all feel that the Commanders are going to win? Philly fans, do you feel that your team is going to win? Give me a score. Let me know how you feel. Like, comment, and subscribe. Other than that, this has been your man, John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fans Sports Show.